A lone child, a dark forest, and a simple warning ignored, this ancient story has haunted cultures for over 300 years, surviving in more than 50 variations from France to Africa and China. But beneath its fairy tale surface, it maps the primal circuitry of human fear. Why stepping into the unknown triggers a 150% surge in the brain's alarm system, and why being alone raises our risk of danger by nearly 1/3. If you think Little Red Riding Hood is just a fable, what does it really reveal about our deepest instincts, and what are we still missing? Stories of a girl in red, stalked by a cunning predator, have travelled along trade routes and across continents for centuries, mutating with every telling. In 1697, Charles Perrault printed the first widely known version in France, naming her Le Petit Chaperon Rouge. His tale ended in silence and warning, no rescue, just the lesson that a polite stranger can be a wolf in disguise. Over a century later, the Brothers Grimm published Rotkäppchen in 1812, adding a hunter's intervention and a glimmer of survival. But even these versions are only fragments of a larger pattern. In West Africa, oral storytellers recite The Wolf and the Seven Young Kids, where a wolf's trickery and gentle voice lure children into opening their door. Chinese traditions tell of Lon Po Po, a wolf who, disguised as a grandmother, targets siblings left alone. Ed Young's 1989 adaptation brought this version to Western readers. Smithsonian recordings capture the gasps and warnings woven into these tales, showing how each culture adapts the story's bones to its own fears. Across every variant, the core remains. A young figure faces the unknown, a predator exploits trust, and the outcome hangs on a single moment of recognition. Whether the threat is a wolf, a tiger, or a stranger at the door, the narrative persists, echoing the universal human fear of what waits in the shadows and the hope that someone or something might intervene. A child steps beneath tangled branches, and something ancient stirs inside the mind. The forest is more than a backdrop. It is a biological trigger shaped by thousands of years, when darkness and the unknown meant real danger. Neuroscientist Joseph Ledoux's work in the 1990s revealed that the amygdala, the brain's alarm center, reacts instantly to unfamiliar, shadowy environments. In laboratory studies, subjects exposed to simulated dark woods showed amygdala activity surging up to 50% above baseline, even before they could name what frightened them. One participant described it as a sense of being watched from every direction, a primal signal to stay alert. Evolutionary field data support this reaction. Early humans who wandered alone faced a much higher chance of attack. Solitary foragers in wild landscapes experienced up to 5 times the predation risk compared to those in groups. The mind learned to equate isolation with vulnerability. For a child in the forest, every snapped twig or shifting shadow becomes a possible threat. This neural alarm is not just superstition, it is survival, hardwired and automatic. The fairy tale's setting mirrors a real, measurable response. The body tenses, the heart rate climbs, and the mind scans for danger long before logic can catch up. In these moments, the story of Little Red Riding Hood is not just a warning, it is a map of the human brain's oldest fears. Before she leaves, the mother's words hang in the air. Stay on the path, don't talk to strangers, don't linger. Warnings like these are as old as the tale itself, repeated in every version, but rarely obeyed. Decades of psychological studies reveal why. Most people recognize danger in theory, yet when it comes to their own journey, they expect things will turn out fine. Tali Sharot's research in 2011 found that 7 out of 10 people consistently underestimate risks to themselves, even when given clear evidence. Kahneman and Tversky's work on the planning fallacy shows that 40% of us believe we'll avoid mistakes others make, convinced that our story will be the exception. In the forest, the mother's caution is met with a nod, but the child's mind is already picturing shortcuts, wildflowers, and the thrill of adventure. The gap between knowing and doing is wide, shaped by optimism bias and the belief that danger happens to other people. The path is clear, but curiosity and a quiet sense of invincibility pulls her away from safety step by step. A patch of wildflowers catches Red's eye, and her steps slow. Curiosity tugs at her, a force as old as the story itself. Sylvia's research in 2008 found that when people encounter something new and unexpected, the brain releases a surge of dopamine, a reward for exploring, even if danger lurks nearby. In moments like these, risk tolerance can spike by 40%. The path fades behind her as Red drifts toward the unknown, each step fueled by a promise of discovery. But she's not alone. From the shadows, a voice calls out, smooth, calm, almost gentle. The wolf's speech is careful, polite, never threatening. Nisbet and Wilson's 1977 halo effect experiments revealed that a warm tone and friendly manner can boost trust by 60%, blurring the boundary between safety and threat. In the wild, wolves use low, soothing vocalizations to reassure their own kind before a hunt, masking intent until it's too late. Red's guard drops, curiosity and comfort weaving a trap. The lure is not just in the woods, but in the words that make danger feel familiar. Inside the grandmother's house, the story promises comfort, a bed, a trusted voice, the routine of a family visit. But the wolf is already waiting, hidden in plain sight. Cognitive studies by Moshe Bar in 2004 found that when a setting matches our expectations, the brain lowers its guard. The mind leans on familiar routines, creating a kind of blind spot. In these moments, threat detection slows. Experimental data shows it can take the brain up to 350 milliseconds longer to register danger in a familiar environment compared to a strange one, a blink, but enough for the wolf to close in. Recognition comes too late. Liddell and Phillips tracked the body's response under sudden threat. Heart rate spikes, muscles tense, but for 2 to 5 seconds, the body freezes. This is not indecision, but biology, an ancient reflex, the freeze response, locking the body in place when escape seems impossible. In the tale, Red stands at the bedside, piecing together the clues, the voice, the eyes, the teeth, while her body stalls. The illusion of safety becomes a trap, and the wolf's patience is rewarded by the very instincts meant to protect. The familiar room, once a haven, now amplifies vulnerability. Every second of delay is a gift to the predator hiding behind a grandmother's smile. A message arrives, polite and urgent, a bank alert, a friend in trouble, a boss requesting a wire transfer. In 2023, the FTC logged nearly 300,000 phishing complaints in the United States alone, with reported losses topping $3 billion. Most victims believe they were answering a familiar request. The deception rarely stops at email. Now, artificial intelligence can clone voices with a few seconds of audio, turning a stranger's script into a parent's gentle tone or a manager's calm instructions. In controlled studies, 3 out of 4 people failed to spot a deep fake, trusting the sound of a loved one or a trusted authority, even when something felt off. One teenager, interviewed after a near miss, described the call as, "just like my mum, her laugh, her sigh, everything." Analysts warn that these digital wolves exploit the same instincts as their fairy tale ancestors: trust in the familiar, comfort in a known voice. The threat no longer waits in the woods. It calls, texts, and whispers from behind a screen, always sounding like someone you want to believe. A car pulls up, the logo glowing on a familiar app, and the door clicks open. Routine replaces caution. This is a ride millions take every day, a shortcut through the ordinary. Yet behind the wheel, the driver is a stranger. From 2018 to 2022, Uber alone received reports of over 3,000 sexual assaults in the United States. Lyft's numbers add hundreds more. Each incident began with a simple act of trust, stepping into a vehicle that feels as safe as a grandmother's cottage. These rides are booked in broad daylight, from office buildings, schools, grocery stores, places that should promise security. But routine is a disguise. The predator no longer waits in the woods or behind a screen. Now, danger slips quietly into daily life, wearing a name tag, following a mapped route, and blending into the background of normalcy. Safety, once assumed, becomes a mask for threat. Centuries later, predators still adapt to our blind spots, online, at work, even at home. Human fear isn't a relic, it's a signal we keep overriding. As new wolves learn our habits, the real danger is forgetting that the forest has simply changed shape. Share your thoughts below.